Good morning, YouTube. Today, we're going to talk about what are some simple things that you can do to check on a car that you're about to buy to make sure it's good.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan and that is Adam, and he is playing with my paint depth meter. Ooh, which we'll show you how to use in just a second. And this is his Porsche 911 Turbo, which we're going to use as our demonstration car. So we're going to pretend like we're interested in buying this car. We're going to kind of walk through some of the simple checks that we do.
And why wouldn't you be interested in buying this?
Someone make an offer. I don't know if he would sell it though. He probably
No.
won't. Probably not. To be sure, this is not an all-inclusive list. This is just some of the simple things that you should do at a bare minimum, in my opinion. These are things that I do on every car that I'm checking out, whether it's for me or for a client. So we're gonna walk through that and kind of hopefully give you some education to make sure that you can make better decisions. But real quick, if you'd like to support us, please like, share, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, go to normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services for your supercar needs, including consultation services where you can have us help you find the right car. All right, guys, let's check out this Porsche and show you exactly what we would do, at least what we'd start off with. And yeah, you already got the tool. That's always where I start. That is the first thing I always check, which is tires. So let's go through the tires. Okay, Adam, what is that?
This is a tire depth gauge. Most of the time you see tires measured in 30 seconds.
In the US.
In the US,
Yeah.
yes. You know, freedom units and stuff like that.
Right.
Anything above 6 thousandths is generally considered good, although if you're buying a car...
630 seconds.
630 seconds, yes, I'm sorry. I just
I
messed it
know,
up and I
I
just
know.
talked about it. But if you're buying a car, you probably want to try to get them as close to new as possible. Anything below 3,
Pass.
pass.
Yeah.
Or make them replace it for sure.
Yes.
Now, also to keep in mind, on tires, there's what's called a wear bar, generally at 2 or 3 30 seconds. And that's generally the indication that you want to replace your tires at.
Yep.
So when you measure, make sure that you're not measuring over top of the wear bar because you're going to be cheating yourself out of 2 30 seconds.
And you always want to measure 3 spots,
Yep.
inside, middle, outside, because the tires may not wear evenly, especially on cars like supercars because they have a lot of camber and toe in.
So due to that, on supercars or higher performance cars, I typically measure the innermost tread because of how toe is.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, camber, how camber is because toe is this way. And I measure that tread in 3 different places.
Yes.
Now on something like a Toyota Camry or Honda Civic, then yeah, you can do inner, middle, outer because that will tell you how your alignment is and everything like that. But a lot of cars like mine specifically, I have a little bit more of a aggressive alignment for
So
spirited
it's
driving.
definitely not going to wear evenly.
Yeah, exactly. So you might be giving yourself a false sense of security if you do inner, middle, outer.
Right.
So I always do 3 measurements of inner
Interesting.
because that's going to be your most worn area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, generally speaking, on these type of cars, the inner side is what you're going to care about the most, which of course
Yeah.
means it's the most difficult to get to. You can't always fit the meters up on the top, so
Yeah, I
usually
typically-
you do it in the front or the back of
Yeah.
the tire. All right, so you can see those little bumps are the wear bars. So obviously if you feel it and those bumps are flush, do not accept those tires. But ideally you do still want to bring one of these little gauges. You can get them for like 10 bucks on Amazon.
And this is what I'm talking about right here. I'm not sure if it will show up on camera, but you can see it with your naked eye in person.
Oh, it's definitely more worn.
There, yeah, but that's because I have this aligned like that on purpose because
Right.
I track the car.
So let's measure all 3 of those treads.
So make sure you're not measuring over top of the wear bar, and then you just, what I do is I do that, and then I just push it down. And so my tire is at right, oh wait, that's millimeter, is right at like 3.5 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it's getting pretty close.
Yes. Yeah.
These are almost
But
done.
then you look at the outer, and it's at like 6.
Right, and so that's the trick. Do this yourself because if you don't,
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, it's at 6:30 seconds.
They're
You're
always
fine."
gonna give you the nicest measurement because dealers are dishonest.
So the other thing, yeah, right? No way, no. So the other thing is make sure you check all 4 tires because sometimes one tire gets replaced. And then the second thing you want to do, as long as you're checking tires, is check the date codes.
Yes.
And honestly, check the brand too.
It's always going to be a 4-digit number.
There it goes.
So this was 4019. So this is the 40th week of 2019 when this tire was manufactured. Never, ever, ever drive on a tire that's older than 6 years old on any vehicle. Never drive over a tire or on a tire that's over 4 years old on a supercar.
I always say 5, but somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 4 to 5 years.
What happens is that as they age, they get very firm, and you can actually feel it. So like if you feel this tire, I can feel it. It's compliant. Like I can push in the rubber with my finger. If you can't do that, that tire is too solid. It's probably too aged out. The other thing to look for is cracks. So you can see on this tire, there is no cracks anywhere. These tires are in good shape. And the reason we're such a stickler on tires is you go through a lot of them, but the last thing you want to do is get a car home and immediately have to spend $2,000, $3,000 on tires. These tires can be quite costly, usually in the $300 to $600 per tire range. It saves you a lot of money. I am a huge proponent of making sure you have fresh tires on these cars.
Also, don't be afraid if the date codes are not exact on all 4 tires.
Yeah.
Because this is a rear engine car, I have to replace the rear tires more often than I have to replace the front. I can't remember if last time I replaced all 4 tires or not, because like every other rear tire, it works out that I need the front tires as well. So just because date codes don't match, don't freak out about it. Yeah. Some people are like, oh, I want all my tires to match. Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Hell, I've literally had brand new tires have different weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
If it's off, because it could have been one that was made at 11:59 on Sunday night, and the next one was made at 12:01
they may have been sitting
Monday morning.
They may have been sitting in a warehouse for 3 months. So the next handy dandy tool we have is a brake pad depth gauge. It may not work in all cases with the wheel on, but we're gonna give it a shot. So it's kind of tricky. You have to kind of see this little pin right there. You have to hook that onto the inside of the brake pad, and then it should kind of, it's spring loaded so it bounces out. You kind of have to like hold the cylinder and then rotate it just right until it, well, I missed. You had it and I screwed it up. It's a little tricky. You probably want to practice a few times on a car, but this should tell you how thick your brake pads are.
The caliper is so big.
It may not get to it.
Because these brakes have so much life left.
I know, it's not showing. So
but
anyway.
Yeah, you would hook that on there and then see the measurement right there.
Right, and so again, it's a little bit trickier with carbon ceramics. You can't always be a judge based on the thickness. You can't really tell on the rotor thickness as well. And that's what this tool is. This is a caliper to measure the rotor thickness. So this one you turn on, zero it, and then you pinch that onto the caliper and it should tell you the thickness. It's pretty difficult with the wheel because it may not fit in. I don't know. We can give it a shot. I try and do this if possible, but again, if you have carbon ceramics, you don't actually need to bother with this because carbon ceramics are actually measured by their weight.
What you do is you just close it and you look at whatever the measurement is, and then typically on the hub,
it'll say
right here, there will be a measurement. So you do have to take the wheel off to see what the measurement is. Sometimes it's stamped right here where you can see it, but I believe on my car it's stamped behind the wheel.
And honestly, if you're going to be very particular about your car, it's probably a good idea to convince the place that you're buying it from to let you put the car up on a lift, remove the wheels, because you're going to want to shake the wheels and check on the ball joints and wheel bearings anyway. So there's certain things that you're going to want to do that you would have the car up in the air for. We're not going to cover those in this video because again, we're just kind of doing some basic simple things. Ooh, special toy. Yeah.
Welcome. It's so polite. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is very easy to use.
Yes. So this is a paint depth meter, and as you can see, all you do, it only works on metal or aluminum. Well, aluminum is a metal, but you can see the goal here is not necessarily to worry too much about the specific number, but to worry if it's consistent. So as you can see, his is 4.5 to 6 point something. It's all basically within 1 mil.
The middle seems to be thicker.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon, because it's as the paint was sprayed over, the edges will kind of be a little bit thinner. You can't measure any sort of composite, and you can't measure anything with the PPF on it. But the goal here is to see that it's pretty consistent throughout the entire car, because if there's all of a sudden one panel that's off by like 4 or 5 mils, it's very likely that that particular panel has been repainted. So that could suggest that maybe there was some damage or something happened that caused them to repaint it. But you can see all of these numbers are all within basically 1 mil.
And depending on the one you have, this shows mean, min, and max.
Yeah.
So you can see that almost 2 mils was the range.
Yep.
So
So that's a handy little tool. They're about $100 or less on Amazon for a decent one.
this is when you ask somebody.
Yeah,
who
ask
has
to
one
borrow
if you can
one
borrow
because
one.
I mean it's not
You
like
don't use them very often.
right. I'm almost never using that. So the last thing that I always like to do is bring my launch computer or at least an OBD scanner and scan the computer, because a lot of times there could be stuff that shows up on the scanner that does not show up in the check engine light. So
Because
there are
I have no check engine light right now.
you don't Did it
Nope.
burn out?
Ah, no, that's not a Volkswagen. Well, I mean, it is, but it's not. I actually had a Volkswagen Jetta when I was younger. The check engine light went out one time, and I was like, did I actually burn out my check engine light at all?
Like it was on so consistently when it went away. You're like, there's a problem.
Yeah.
So the goal here is we want to see what sorts of codes are there. And I usually have a system that I like to do, which is if there are codes, I will clear them, then run the car and drive it, and then check them again after I've driven it and see if they came back. Sometimes there are codes that can happen, especially when cars have been stored for a very long time because the batteries went low or other things happen. So I don't necessarily say that just because it had some codes that there's something wrong. But if they do come back consistently, then that suggests that there may actually be a problem. So we're gonna do traditional diagnosis and find Porsche. And you gotta double click it for some reason.
I bet you all have at least a radio fault since I
Yeah,
replaced the radio.
or like an alarm or something. You wanna do automatically search. And this takes a while sometimes.
But through the magic of editing, it won't take any time at all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, hit okay. And we wanna do a health report. And so it's gonna scan every system on the car and let us know if there's any sort of faults. Oh, we already do have one.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
I know.
So we're gonna go into the fault report, which will show us everything that's there. So you can see there are 7 DTC codes. Oh man.
Let's start with this one.
Yeah,
This is-
so it's got a misfire detection signal implausible, misfire cylinder 6, misfire cylinder 3. And so interesting thing is those are probably from something that happened a while ago.
when we did the spark plugs, probably.
Almost certainly, yeah. The alarm,
Because they're not active.
yep, they're not active misfires. We got, again, some older codes.
Radios,
Radio faults, passenger
which I
compartment.
don't have the factory radio, so that explains it.
Yep. And then air conditioning, what's that one? Fresh air fan motor. Not sure what that one is. So
My
again-
AC works fine. So.
Right. So again, what I like to do is let's clear them all. Clear DTCs. Yes. So we'll clear them all. And some of them may actually come back even when they're first being cleared. The only one of those that was a bit of a concern is the misfire. But again, that's why we're going to clear it. We'll start the car and see if it comes back. Yeah, you can see. So even just clearing it, the alarm one came back.
With even more codes.
Yeah, I was like, ah. So yeah, it's very unhappy about the aftermarket radio. But again, so what you'd do is you normally just would start the car. Typically, you'd want to drive it for a little while, but I mean, we don't really need to do that for demonstration purposes. But yeah, you'd drive the car and then rescan it. Already, the misfires went away. So already, it's pretty much convincing that yeah, we were having old faults that aren't a concern.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
Basically-
betting it's from when you guys probably remember the videos of me chasing the boost leak after we did my
Yep.
spark plugs. I'm betting money that that's where that's from.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Now,
before.
of note, you can use one of these little OBD dongles, but the problem
you
is,
said dongles.
yeah, something like this. These things work okay, but they have a hard time with some of the manufacturer-specific codes. So if you really want to be safe, you probably need to use something like a Launch X431 or something that's a little bit more hardcore that can do a bit more. I bring that with me every time I go look at any car for a client or for myself. So those are just a few of the things that we check on when we're actually inspecting a car, whether it's for ourselves or for a customer. There's a lot more to it. Obviously, we have a limited amount of time with this video, but if you guys want us to tell you more things that we do check out, please put that in the comments below and we can make another video about that. We just kind of want to give you a taste of some of the things that I think are very easy to do, and anyone can do these sorts of things. These are very simple things to do not require all that much inexpensive tools except for the launch. So the paint meter and the other depth gauges are super cheap, really easy and affordable. The launch, in my opinion, is still worth it. If you're gonna have a fun car like this, spending about $1,000 for a launch is worth it to have those. In fact,
Or have a friend with it.
or you have a friend with it, because I bring that with me on every road trip. It's a very handy device to have. But other than that, that should get you going, hopefully give you a little bit more comfort in things that you should check out when you're buying a new supercar. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We do appreciate it when you guys support us. And of course, you can go to normalguysupercar.com and buy your parts and services through us. Use the code NGS10. It hooks you up with almost 10% off on everything.
No, it does hook you up with 10%.
Oh yeah,
On
hooks you up
almost
with,
everything.
Hooks you up with 10% off almost everything. Sorry, I got that reversed. But that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much, and we're gonna be doing a lot more car stuff, so you're gonna want to stay tuned.
There will be no check engine lights.
Ooh, no check engine lights.